Good to go.
All right, good evening, everyone. I want to welcome everyone to the Citizens Advisory Committee meeting this evening, February 24th, 6 p.m. I call the meeting to order. Can everybody hear that? All right.
Yeah.
So, welcome everyone. We have this evening with us our CAC members. I would like for everyone to introduce themselves and let the public know that you are here. So first, Aurel.
Present.
We have Jim Bronner.
Yep.
Jessica Nguyen.
Yes, here.
Jerry Mingo.
Here.
And I, Robert Sims, am present. We also have on the line this evening, we have from Community Development, we have Mr. Michael McNair.
Rob, I think you missed one CAC member that's online.
Did I miss Mr. Boone? Mr. Boone.
Good evening, all.
I'm right, and I got your name down though. You're number one in my book.
Yeah, I hear you. Hey.
All right, thank you. Okay. All right, from Community Development, we have Michael McNair.
Here.
We have Miss Michelle McNair.
I'm here. No relations.
Miss Alicia Doolin.
I'm here.
And we have a new member this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce Miss Brittany Baldwin.
Good evening, present.
Excellent. Okay. So, would someone like to lead us in prayer?
I'll go ahead.
Like to lead us in prayer?
I got you.
Okay, thank you.
Let's pray. Father God in heaven, we honor you. We thank you for this time. Thank you for this evening's events, God. We ask that you be with us. Keep us safe, God. We just honor you again for a successful evening. In Jesus' name, Lord. Amen.
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 Thank you, Mr. Boone. Okay, has everyone had a chance to view the minutes that were sent by Michelle?
Yep.
Okay, does anyone have any questions? Any comments? All right, do we have a motion to accept the minutes as presented?
Jessica Nguyen, I make a motion to accept.
Motion has been. Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay. So we'll go down the list, either with a yay or nay. Aurel,
Yay.
Jessica,
Yay.
Jerry Mingo,
Yes.
Mr. Warren Boone,
Yes.
Jim Bronner,
Yeah.
and I am a yes. Okay, motion carries. Next is old business. Any announcements, any updates? I think we have one or two neighborhood associations on. No old business. Okay. Well, we'll just keep moving right along. We'll go to Mr. McNair with Community Development and Housing.
Good evening. I'm going to try to be brief, try to be mindful of the time here since we'll be starting at 6:30. I have several updates for you. This past council meeting, council approved the allocation of the remaining CDBG CV funds that we had discussed before. And so the 198 and change has been allocated, and those contracts are in the process of being amended. Council also approved a change in our urgent repair procurement procedures that will allow us to improve our service delivery time by allowing us to award a bid with one bid. So we were having problems getting contractors to bid because the jobs are not large jobs. So we asked that to give us the flexibility to, if we had one responsible and responsive bid or two, we're supposed to get three normally, that we can award a contract based on that. And then failing that, if we didn't get an acceptable bid, then we would in turn contract with Community Housing Solutions to go ahead and get the job done, rather than putting the job back in the queue and rebidding it. And, they want to lose sight of the fact on the other side of that was a human being who's looking for their home to be repaired. So we're trying to improve that turnaround time. Council also approved the conveyance, the remaining 15 properties out at the Cedro subdivision to CHS, Community Housing Solutions. We asked that they be conveyed on an as-needed basis so that the entire subdivision was available for sale, and buyers could pick the lot they wanted. I would also point out to you that we have a CD Community Development Committee meeting next Tuesday at 4 o'clock. There will be a continuum of care update, which has to do with homeless issues. We'll have an update from the Greater High Point Food Alliance. I believe that'll be called Veerling. And then we'll have a discussion of upcoming multifamily projects, that will be funded with tax-exempt bonds. And we're talking about at least 3 projects, probably, certainly almost, I think, 500 units at least. So we'll be talking with them about that and how to get that process started. And I will lay down my unicycle. That's all I have, sir. Anybody have any questions? Be glad to respond.
Thank you very much, Mr. McNair.
Alrighty.
Okay, so I don't think we see Cyril on the screen this evening. Do we have an update from City Council, Mike or Michelle?
Well, you probably saw in the paper that the county approved a $7 million grant to the city to be paid out over 20 years, $350,000 a year over 20 years for economic development within the designated. There's a 649 acre area that's been designated for redevelopment in the core city, and there were some, from what I understand, there were some additional conditions added to it that the city had to demonstrate a given percentage of growth. I don't know what that percentage was. The funds could not be used for the stadium or to pay the debt on the stadium. And they could not be used, well, I think there were some people who didn't want them to use it to build a parking deck. So, but my understanding was that the city has a significant number of opportunities and that they can use those funds. So we were all happy to see that. That's something, as you know, it's been percolating out there for 3 or 4 years. Well, since 2017, yeah. So that one is behind us. And then also the, Cyril's gonna, I'm gonna get the name of this group incorrect, but the diversity and inclusion project that Cyril's been working on, they were awarded $100,000 by the county.
Say that again, Mike. Who was awarded that?
It was the, help me out, Michelle, is the diversity and inclusiveness. I forgot exactly. It's an initiative that Cyril's been working on. And they approached the county for a $100,000 grant and the county approved it. So they're supposed to be working on providing, I think, access to capital and resources to minority businesses. in High Point. Executive development activity. I can get you some more information on it, but I'll just hit me on the top of my head. But it's in the paper. It's in the Rhino too. Rhino a lot of times will have a little more in depth.
Okay.
Rhino.
Thank you, Mike. I would like to see some information on that
Mm-hmm.
because I've seen it throughout the last couple of months, and so I'd be interested to know when it begins, what that application process is like, and what areas does that cover.
Well, like I said, so I wish Cyril was here because he has the details. But I'm actually going to pull it up right now while we're talking. Let's see. That's Rhino.
Is that Mr. Jefferson on the line?
Good evening, Chairman Sims.
Good evening, ladies.
Good, he can take it over.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
About your group that you're working with, and I'm butchering the name, so if you can step in and relieve me, I'd appreciate it.
Mike, are you guys talking about the High Point Equity Project?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I don't mind chiming in. I hope y'all will forgive my tardiness. I think I tell you, I generally pick my boys up from daycare around 6 o'clock. So this is the time I'm getting them home and trying to feed them. And my wife is away with work right now. So I do apologize for that. I hope everyone's doing well. It's good to see everyone. I see some new faces. Ms. Baldwin, I don't think we've had the pleasure of making acquaintance, but it's a pleasure to, I guess, virtually meet you. In regards to the High Point Equity Project, first I'll say that last year, the High Point Community Investment Campaign was introduced to our community. That's an ongoing effort to try to address some of our biggest needs through some innovative and collaborative solutions. The first initiative was launched in fall of 2020, and that's to raise $1 million, or at least $1 million, to establish the foothold of what we're calling the High Point Equity Project. The High Point Equity Project is one that seeks to address the income-based inequalities and disparities that are faced in our community. It's based on the knowledge that the racial wealth gap between the median income of a Black family and that of a white family is 10 to 1. There are studies that show, specifically what we reference is the McKinsey & Company corporate consulting firm, in which they say that if we address this racial wealth gap, then the global domestic product for the United States would increase over the next 7 years by more than $6 trillion. And so essentially by not addressing it, we miss out on collective income for our community. And so what was so important as I talk about this is that the High Point Equity Project is one that doesn't just seek to benefit communities of color or disenfranchised communities, minority and women-owned businesses, things of that nature. But quite frankly, the High Point Equity Project is one that's truly investing in the core of High Point, and that when we do this, we make High Point better altogether for the efforts. I don't know if Mike, how many details you've gotten to regarding the High Point Equity Project, but so far it's gotten the support of stakeholding institutions in our community, such as High Point University, Community Foundation, Chamber of Commerce, Guilford County government. We've got conversations going on with City of High Point government, conversations and things with other foundations here in the city. HPU launched with the $500,000 challenge gift. Guilford County Board of Commissioners, in an effort that was spearheaded by Commissioner Foster, approved $100,000 to go towards the effort in their meeting Monday night. And so we're hoping those next few months to raise the rest of what's needed to meet the HBU challenge gift, which will get us at least to $1 million. Through some of the conversations we're having already, we actually believe we'll raise about $1.5 million actually in these first few months. The project is expected to launch in summer 2021, and more details will roll out with that in the time to come. If you all have any questions about it, I'd be happy to address them.
All right. Thank you, Cyril. That was great information. Does anyone have any questions?
Hero, thank you for rescuing me too, because I wasn't doing that.
You were doing fine, Mike.
Mike, you say that, but I'm sure you were doing exceptionally well.
All right. And then while we have you on the line, Councilman Jefferson, are there any more updates that you would have from City Council?
Certainly, I'll say that the consulting firm that we're using to do the hiring process for our next city manager, we actually have a meeting with them in a couple of weeks to talk about the next steps, which are meeting with some of the finalists and doing interviews and things of that nature. We'll actually do interviews the early part of April, actually mid-April, I think. And I expect the weeks to follow after that, a selection will be made on the actual candidate for city manager. And if we're fortunate, I think they'll be in their role by about June or July. That's significant, not just for filling that position, but if you may know, many department directors within the city over the, I guess, past year or so, we've seen retirements. And our interim city manager right now, Randy McCaslin, has been his practice and policy and belief that with the new city manager coming in to allow them to do their hiring in those key positions. And so that includes director for economic development. That also includes the new police chief. So once the city manager is hired, we should see in the months to come replacements, appointments, hirings, something to that effect for those two positions. I'll also say that council is working on a strategic marketing initiative. They've got a big retreat coming up led by Councilman Holmes. So stay tuned for updates on that. We did hear back from the Human Relations Commission on things such as fair housing assistance and some other items. So we're looking at some more strategic opportunities with the budget that'll come up in May is when we'll begin those conversations for a vote to approve the budget in June. Our hope is that the report will get back about second quarter, second quarter our time, but fourth quarter, I guess, of 2020 sales tax revenue. We'll hear back on how we did as a state in October, November, and December, and what that means for our area. For those who don't know, that revenue and how that is reported gives us a forecast of what we'll be able to do with our budget next year. Because of COVID last spring, there was the projected $7 million shortfall. And so that's why we have to sort of tighten the lid on things when it comes to our general fund. But we're hoping, and actually, I'm sorry, because I think I mixed up the quarters, y'all. I'm sorry. We're supposed to be getting all of those reportings back about actual second quarter 2020, third quarter 2020, and then fourth quarter 2020, so that we can see if the projections lined up with what we thought they would be. And if they end up being better, we'll have some more money this year, but then we got to see what the forecast looks like for the following year for the coming budget. So Mike and Michelle and Alicia, any of you who are on any of those things I spoke about, I know you guys are in council meetings, you hear some of that stuff. If y'all want to add on or elaborate or clarify something maybe I missed or didn't get right, please feel free to.
You're good, Cyril. We have to turn the page anyway. We got 6:30 coming up at us.
Sorry, I didn't know I was talking too long. I know I often do that.
No, I just want to let you know. We're good.
Well, thank you, Cyril. I know everyone appreciates that update. And you guys, Cyril's only a phone call away. So if you guys need him, he does, he's checking emails, he's taking calls. So Cyril, we're appreciating all you're doing, sir. So thank you very much.
Chairman Sims and everyone on the CAC, I appreciate you all. As I've said before, the work you do is critical. You guys have been very busy here lately, especially with the funding that's coming down the pike for CDBG, and there's some citizens participations. I think tomorrow morning that meeting is going on, and then some more things you all will approve over the next several months. So thank you for being the hardest working commission in the city. Don't tell the other commissions I said that.
Thank you.
And all you listening on YouTube, don't tell the other commissions I said that either.
Thank you, sir. All right, guys, we're going to move to our part of the meeting, the CDBG grant presentations. We are going to be allowing presentation time as well as a Q&A. Everyone should have copies of the proposals. And so I do want to just, housekeeping items. When we get to our Q&A, if individuals can just raise their hand, and then as each hand comes up, each question is read, then we can go down the line that way. Okay? So I think we are all set to go. So Ryan, if we can let in Open Door Ministries, then we can begin.
And Alicia's going to call out the two individuals so Ryan will know who he needs to let in.
Yep, that would be Will Bohoboy. And I just want to mention that Mr. Belton has also been on the call and he's able to participate now.
All right. Good evening, Mr. Will Boyaboy.
That's pretty close. Yeah, Boy, sir. Yes. I give you an A for effort. That's always a tongue teaser for a lot of people.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Welcome this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Our first presentation is going to be Open Door Ministries. And Mr. Will, you have it.
Thank you all so much for allowing me to be here. Open Door is looking for some assistance this go around. We, with COVID still very much active, and I don't know if everybody has already heard about our little problem with the kitchen this week, which has nothing to do with the grant, but our kitchen is shut down due to a positive test result. And so we are not feeding out the door at all right now. But the reason for the grant was when COVID first started, we were looking for a way to practice the social distancing, but still feed the public. We feed, about 84,000, meals a year. I mean, 3 meals a day. We're seeing somewhere between 50 to 70 people at each mealtime. And we wanted to keep up with that, even though COVID was here. So we were delivering to-go plates out the door down the street in which to keep staff and the residents here safe, but also continue our mission to feed the hungry. So, and that ran, for a while, we were able to have some funding to do that. And I'm sure like a lot of people, we didn't think COVID was still going to be with us. I guess I was being optimistic as well. We thought COVID would be done. And here we are into the next year of it, and we're still dealing with it. And we're looking for some help to continue to allow us to, fund, the food program, the delivery program. It pays for, basically the assistance of a driver to take the meals down to a designated area, which is about not even a block. I think it's right there at Washington Street here in High Point, where we can deliver the meals to the community there and allow us to do that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner so that we can continue, to feed them as we're not feeding them on campus. Campus is closed except for those who live here. But we want to be able to continue to feed, the hungry. We know the need is out there. We see them. And we just want to be able to continue with that. Unsure how long COVID is going to remain with us. We're not looking to do this indefinitely. I've already been reaching out, trying to partner with a couple churches. And we do have 2 churches that have actually stepped up who are willing to help us down the road. So again, at some point, if COVID continues past December, we'd be looking at, church groups and other volunteers to help us keep it going as long as need be. But this is kind of an emergent need right now until we can get the logistics of everything else kind of in place. So again, it would just be to help us with the driver, the food we already have, as well as the to-go containers that we use. We're going through those pretty quickly. And so that's the idea of this grant.
Okay. Thank you very much. Jim?
Yeah, I'm just curious, since the COVID has hit, what kind of an increase in people coming to you have you had? I mean, do you have any numbers?
Yes, sir. We're still seeing on average 55 to 65 per meal. It varies a little bit depending upon the time of month. Usually when food stamps come in, we see a little bit of a decrease, which is closer to that 55 or so range. And then at the end of the month, it creeps right back up when the food stamps have run out. And so we're still seeing roughly the same numbers that we've always seen. And again, they go up and down during the course of the month based on the, I believe the food stamps and other resources, just as always, even before COVID. So
you've not seen much of an increase in?
No, the food meals that we serve has not been increasing just because we're in COVID. No, it's relatively stable.
I would have thought that there have been more people with hardships, that would need some help.
Yeah, we would have thought so too. I mean, originally the plan was to try to go to a couple different locations and see if there's more people out there. We did actually partner with Leslie's House for a time to help supply food to meals to their overflow shelter. And we're still trying to do that, even though we're kind of on hiatus at the moment.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Go ahead, Orel, and then I have one actually.
Okay, sure. I just wanted for you, Will, if you don't mind, just to expound upon the expense for the 26,208.
Okay, the driver we would get to do about 4 hours per day. So we're talking about 20 hours a week in which to help get the meals ready, transport the meals, deliver the meals. And then the other part of that cost is the to-go containers. We have to go through about, they come in packs of about 125. So we add that out, but it turns out to be about 500 a month we spend on just those containers. And then the driver is kind of the minimal expense, but they're still, a decent driver. You're still spending somewhere between 10 and 12 an hour to get somebody to come down here for that. But those are the only costs. Everything else, the food and preparation, we've been doing anyway.
Thanks. My questions, Jessica Wynn, was about, if COVID does, I'm not sure in this fiscal year it's going to, but if for some reason it did, how would you pivot to still use these funds for this service? I mean, the funds are really enhancing a service that you already strive to provide, COVID or not. Right. So that's good, but.
We're still hoping, Jessica, to expand it to those other locations. Originally, my thought was when COVID first happened, 3 locations. We were looking at 5 points just down the street from us, as well as over off of English Avenue. It never came to be. We were struggling initially just to feed down the street and, Leslie's house. And so we would still be looking to expand beyond our borders, so to speak, and hit those areas. COVID or not, that is still, my desire. I know Ryan Ross is on the same page as I am. We want to go where the people are, and we know that there's pockets out there in those areas, and so we would continue to do that.
Thanks.
Okay. Great questions. Does anyone have any other questions?
I got one quick one. It may not have a whole lot to with this grant. But do you got, I know with the increase, I mean, there's a lot of people, you see a lot of people out here panhandling more so now than ever.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever have any plans or to expand or build on or do whatever to get bigger, to provide more?
You mean expand our capacity as far as the shelter or the food programs?
Shelter.
Yes, sir. That actually came up in a meeting I was having today, a couple meetings actually, because right now we are at sort of a new capacity. We used to be a 68 bed facility. Now we're down to what, 34, which is a considerable difference. And we're still seeing about 6 to 10 on overflow downstairs. We're still running an overflow shelter ourselves until the end of March anyway. We're trying to see how we can expand, if you will, during this COVID. I mean, obviously people are starting to get vaccinated, which is great. I know staff has been and some of the residents have been. I guess we're looking at a couple different things from can we get vaccinated enough people that, including staff, so that we can do it safely. We do have the ability, I mean, bed wise and so forth, we can expand back to 68. That's not a problem. I just want to be able to do it safely for everybody. And again, we're still all talking about it with other shelters and trying to figure out how do we do that. And I think it starts with vaccinations, and then we just have to see how it's going to work from there.
Cool. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Will. We appreciate your time this evening and appreciate all the work you do.
Thank y'all. Appreciate you for the time.
Absolutely.
All right. Y'all take care.
Thanks.
Okay, group. We are now ready for our second presenter. That will be the Theater Art Galleries. And Alicia, who do we have up next?
For the Theater Art Gallery, there's Jeff Horning and Jennifer Donnelly, I believe, are both on the line.
All right. Good evening, Mr. Horning, Ms. Donnelly.
You're muted.
I believe you're muted, Jeff.
Sorry, as many times as I've done this, you would think by now I'd have it figured out. But thank you for having us. Our education coordinator, Jennifer Donnelly, is going to take the lead on this.
You guys hear me?
Yes, now I can. Yes.
Okay, good. I was trying to log in on my phone because the computer went, anyway, okay. I am Jennifer Donnelly, and I am the education coordinator and lead teacher for CAC Theater Art Galleries. And I am talking to you tonight on behalf of our request for funding for our Art Smart expansion program. And this is our after-school arts program that is designated to the Boys and Girls Clubs of High Point. And we've been fortunate enough to receive funding for this last year. And so the program is going forward right now. It was implemented in September. And of course, we've had the same frustrations and challenges that everybody else has had right now with COVID. But we are very happy that we have been able to offer a program and that we have been consistent with the kids. And we have been in person with the kids up until December. Now, this program is very in-depth. It's on a weekly basis for the kids. This is a program that they would not get in the public school system. So it's a little frustrating to have to be remote, but what we did, we had to be flexible. And like I said, I thought it was important that we remain consistent. So I made art kits for the kids using some of the funding. And these were big plastic boxes full of art supplies, paints, oil pastels, leading artist tissue paper, just some really, really fun, interesting things, excuse me, to keep them engaged. And it also had PDFs with assignments, projects, and links to videos that I did, instructional videos for them, so that they could follow along and do these videos with the art kids. We're asking for $6,400 to fund the program again for next year. And TAG will pay out of our matching funds for an intern to assist me. And she is from the UNCG Department of Social Work, grad student. And she is assisting me on working with the kids for the to get the benefits of art in more of a therapeutic approach, which has been so helpful right now. And it's something I think that will really carry these kids forward, especially in the midst of all the challenges that we have. But we've been working with the kids on stress management with art, coping skills, ways to have more insight and self-care, which is just huge. I mean, art is not just all about drawing pictures. It's also a way to cope and with your circumstances. And she's also assisting me in assessing the program. And so any changes or anything that she sees needs to going forward, and just, holding us accountable, which I like, because that makes us even better. But it's like I said, going forward, we have a very in-depth curriculum planned. We have, and it's in one of the attachments, attachment 3 and attachment 2, talks specifically about the program goals. It talks specifically about the actual curriculum and the materials that the kids will be exposed to. It talks specifically about the community involvement and the standpoint of the kids working to improve their community and their surroundings and taking more pride in their community with murals and planters, things like that. And hopefully that's what we will get to in the spring. But I just want to thank you guys for the funding up until this point. And, it's currently we're serving 40 kids, and we can serve up to 65 weekly. But, enrollment's been down. So that's one of the reasons why we haven't had as many kids as I would have hoped. But we've had 40 consistent kids. Only, I think, 2 moved away, and nobody else has dropped from the program. So that has been a very positive thing for us in working with the kids. And this grant also pays for a summer camp, a weekly summer camp, art camp for the kids at the Boys and Girls Clubs at each location. And that would be potentially with a completely different group of kids. And so that would double the reach of the program as well. So if you have any questions or anything else that I can tell you about the program, I'd be happy to do that.
Thank you, Ms. Donnelly. That was excellent. Anybody have any questions? Jim? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jim.
I just had a comment. I know we just did, a neighborhood group, we just did a citywide art contest, a combination art contest essay we know that this COVID is affecting kids. And so we wanted them to express that in either an essay or an art. And it is, I love art because I was a custom car painter for 45 years. But the art, so much can come out of it. Said like you draw a picture. There's a lot that kid's telling you that they may not be able to say with their voice. And that's, I'm always interested in this kind of a project. I just wanted to make a comment. I had no question.
If I could say something in response to that, we have been doing several assessments and surveys, and with kids, I keep it just a good, fun questionnaire. I'm getting to know you, you're getting to know me. So I'll ask you a question, and then you ask me one, that kind of thing. And so we ask them about COVID and how they feel about COVID. And these kids have big feelings, and they need some place to put those feelings and how to handle this. And kids are not, their DNA is not to socially distance. Their DNA, it's just not in them to wear a mask and to stay 6 feet away from their friends and their teachers. So it's very challenging for them. And so that's when we talked about, when I feel a certain way, you know, this is what I draw and this helps me feel better. And I can say things with my artwork that I can't always say in a regular setting, or, you know, it's easier sometimes to talk with artwork for kids. And so it's just so beneficial to them, especially now, you know. And when we envisioned this program before this, we had no idea that, you know, where we would be now. Nobody did. So it's even more important now, I feel, than it even was then. So especially now.
Thank you.
Orel?
Yes, thank you so much, Jennifer. I have a question for you. I know that in the grant, in your application, we're addressing, I'm guessing this is for in-person, correct?
Yes.
Is there anything in your program going forward where the kids will be able to also do the different activities virtually? Should there be some days during the week that they are working from home?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I have done with the art kits, because with the outbreaks, and I was really concerned. You know, I've been fortunate. I've been exposed to COVID several times and have never gotten it. So I'm not worried about myself, but that doesn't mean I can't transmit. And when we're having all these high numbers and outbreaks, and I'm going between all three, I'm the one person coming in contact with 40 kids each week who are going home to their families. It just wasn't a safe situation in December. So the art kits, where they can work at their own pace when they're at the Boys and Girls Clubs, then they can work there. I didn't want to do anything where I would go into their homes and work virtually, because they had so much of that with school. I wanted this to be something where they could sit down with their art kit, with their instructions, and then I have liaisons and people that I talk to at each one of the clubs that also was there and knew everything that I was doing, and my contacts there, and they would work with the kids then as well. But then that's why I did the videos, because then they see me and they see me making this, and they say, hey, you know, and I'm talking to them and I'm saying, this is what I'm doing. Maybe you could try this with yours. So it is, but it's at their pace and at their time when they're there. And it's a fun thing. It's not a have to thing at this point. Now, when I get back in there, we're going to get busy doing a whole bunch of fun stuff. So, but for right now, that's the road that we decided to take.
And also we're adding to the kits as we go along, as they work through the projects. We're adding new things to the kits so that they don't run out of things to do.
And I am hoping that it's only going to be for another month until we're back in person.
Excellent. Okay. Did I see Jessica raise her hand?
I did just want to make sure I had saw Orel, and I didn't know if anybody else had. I do have one question about that kind of virtual component. I also hope that you only have to do art kits for another month. What kind of, if for some reason that is not the case, what kind of, particularly one thing I really liked about this expansion is the UNCG social worker partnership and taking that kind of therapeutic approach to art. I think that's a really awesome enhancement. Do you have any, and you may just be starting to think about this, but any virtual plans, if necessary, to still implement that portion of the project?
Well, several of the projects, one of the books that they did is called an All About Me book. And it's actually a cutout of like a child, and they decorate the cover to look like them. Or if they didn't want to do that, if they wanted to just do things that represent them or their interests, and it's a story about them and about their lives right now. And there are examples. They had all kinds of kits, but it's to tell their story and to talk about what's happening right now. And so several of the projects are kind of geared towards that going forward. And I talked to them when I dropped off the art kits about, this is your time when you have time to do art, and you have your kit, and these are all your supplies. And these kids were so excited. Like I said, a lot of them had never had their own art supplies outside of school ever. And so they have this plastic kit, and it's a nice one and full of things. And they'll take, I said, now you take care of these. If you leave all the tops off your markers and they dry out, then you don't have markers. But if you take care of them, this is going home with you at the end of the year. And this is yours to keep. And you can keep filling it up, and it has like stickers with their names on it. And I said, but this is your time. This is your art time. This is your time to be quiet and to think about, things that, that you want to draw about, or things that are bothering you, or concerns that you have, or something that you're excited and happy about or looking forward to in the future. And so we talked about that a little more. And Olivia, who, Olivia is my other helper. Octavia is my helper for this program, and she's my intern at UNCG. And she's also working. She thought it would be important for the kids to see other artists, contemporary artists that look like them. And so she is working on some things that we will include in the kit, and we're putting this together tomorrow so that they can envision themselves as artists and see some success stories and other people that look like them and come from their backgrounds that are included in the kit as well. So we're trying to cover that virtually as best we can. I can't wait to be back in person. I just, that's just all there is to it. But for right now, we're just really being as flexible and as we can with the situation.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Donnelly, Mr. Horney. You guys were great, and you guys are doing an awesome job. So just keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate
support.
it. Really appreciate it. The kids do too.
Thank you very much. You guys have a great evening.
Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Great job, guys. Next, we have up the Carl Chavis YMCA. When you're ready.
Yes, Carlina Foster is joining us on the line.
Good evening, Ms. Foster.
Good evening. Don't know where to look. I don't know where I'm looking. My computer's turned a different way. But good evening to everybody, and thank you for this opportunity to present information on this grant request for a senior club that will provide services to the most vulnerable population, senior citizens. Most senior citizens do not have money to participate in extra activities. Access to activities is a bit limited for them, and transportation is generally a barrier. This program will address the critical needs of seniors by addressing healthy eating. It will help them maintain and increase socialization skills. It will promote physical activities, and it will provide an opportunity for them to continue to learn and share. I'm going by the questions that I was sent, so I'm just going to go right through them. So inputs, resources, we have YMCA staff, we have transportation. They will have access to our YMCA facilities, and it will provide supplies. The activities will include meetings twice a month. This will address their socialization skills and provide fellowship opportunities. We'll provide arts and crafts. They'll play games. We'll have speakers and resource people come in. They will have the opportunity to go on some field trips. They will be able to exercise and use the gym. And just like the previous project, we will do some art projects with them, some art on canvas, some painting and things of that nature. We hope to serve a minimum of 25 people. So with the governor's new announcement today, he's going to allow 25 people indoors for mass gatherings. We budgeted for 30. 100% of these participants will receive healthy meals. If they're not able to come to the meetings on that day, then we will be able to deliver their meals to them, because in the past, when we've had senior activities and you have maybe a wife that came, she would always ask if she could take home a meal to her husband. Or sometimes if they missed our gatherings, they would pick up the phone and call and ask if we could bring them a meal. So certainly we will be able to do that. 90% of them we figure will participate in the physical activities, which will be developmentally appropriate for seniors. 90% of them will learn something new. Seniors have a lot of knowledge, so they're able to share a lot of stuff, not just among themselves, but with staff as well. And they will be socially connected through the senior club, which is very important because seniors face a lot of loneliness living alone by themselves. So we'll be able to measure our outcomes by written attendance and participation of seniors, by staff observation, and by a participation survey that we use for all of our YMCA programs. My cover page asks for $12,000. My budget equals $11,550.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Foster. That was great information. Does anyone have any questions for Commissioner Foster? Jim?
Yeah, since seniors are kind of in that vulnerable class of the COVID, what, I know the number 20, the number is 25, sounds good, but how are you going to ensure a safe environment for the seniors?
We'll use our gymnasium where we can social distance everybody individually. We can very easily get 25 people in there, 6 feet apart, without any problems there. We have seniors that are really calling us every day wanting to know when they can come back to the Y. We're not open on a full scale, but we anticipate opening up more in the next couple of months. So that's why we're targeted to start our program in August. But yes, everything will be done in the gym, and in my other hat, we have been very instrumental in getting seniors vaccinated too. So yeah, we know that they're a vulnerable population, and we're trying to be sure that all of our seniors are vaccinated. And we've been very successful in getting probably about 300 people vaccinated through Guilford County. So yes, we're very much conscious of that.
Yeah, I'm sure the seniors are getting stir crazy.
Yeah.
And so I hope that, it sounds like you got a good program, and because I'm getting close to senior age myself.
But join me.
Yeah. So, thank you.
All right, thank you, Jim. Anyone else have any questions, comments? Okay. Well, Commissioner Foster, thank you very much for presenting with us this evening. I think it's a great program as well. And, our seniors are definitely the treasure in our lives. So
right.
Thank you for this. So if anyone else doesn't have any questions, Ms. Foster, we do appreciate you coming out.
Thank you. Thank you.
You have a good evening.
All right.
You have a good evening.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. You guys are doing pretty good. All right. So next we have up is the ARC. And Alicia, who do we have?
Yes, we have Stephanie and Koviak and Laura Sturgis from the ARC at Point.
Hi.
Good evening.
How are you? It logged me out, then pushed me back in, so I apologize.
Yeah, me too.
How are you?
Ladies.
Good evening. So just start with our presentation.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. We got two services, so go ahead.
Yeah, so we're with the ARC of High Point, and we actually have two different programs that we are approved for. One is Access Dental, and you guys have been supporting that program for several years. Laura, do you want to tell them a little bit about how we've been affected by COVID and how we've been doing this year?
Yes, during the initial piece of COVID, we had to cancel about 3 or 4 dental clinics. But once we were able to start running back up, they were able to give us additional days. We do have quite an extensive wait list, and they understand that, so they work as best they can with us to alleviate that. So we're kind of getting back on track. Unfortunately, because of COVID, they're making me space the appointments out further. So we do not have lots of back and forth and unsocial distancing, I guess is the word. So it limits my number of patients to be seen per month, but we're still able to progressively get better with the dental system. So it's worked out well.
And we're adding a second day next month. We're
March,
going to have
yeah.
2 days in March.
We had additional days in July when they first started coming back, September, and now again in March.
So do we need to explain Access Dental? I mean, I see a lot of very familiar faces, but our Access Dental program provides a dental service for folks with intellectual developmental disabilities. And I'd say about 95% or more of our patients are Medicaid funded. And it's often very hard to find a dentist in the community who takes Medicaid, number one, but also understands the anxiety and behaviors that a lot of our participants have. And so Access Dental does an amazing job of providing that service in a very friendly environment.
I'd like to add on that they've been coming to the ARC since 2000, but as they've grown, I've get lots of calls from other dentists in the community, healthcare providers like United Way, social workers, pediatricians' office. So it's a valuable tool for other medical professionals and dental places to call to have services for people who can't see the traditional dentist.
So we also need to tell you about Wild and Free. Wild and Free is our new day program that is a transitional education and vocational program. It serves folks with intellectual and developmental disabilities who are maybe right out of school or ready to start looking for a job, but may not have the ability to go out and interview, fill out online resumes, interview. They may need a little bit of support in that area, but they may also need some job skills training. This program we started 3 years ago. It'll be 3 years this summer, 4 years this summer. Sorry,
I think it's
3.5 years. And we currently serve 20 folks in the program. It continues to grow, and we were just last year approved for Medicaid funding for this program. So we currently are serving 4 folks in a day program that receive Medicaid funding for that day program. We're also, Laura and I, through COVID, worked diligently to get prepared to get approved and our building licensed and CQL accredited, or quality of leadership, and Laura, quality of leadership. CQL.
Council on Quality of Leadership.
Thank you. It's a national accreditation, and the state international. And they require that the state of North Carolina requires that all agencies get accredited through. You've got a few different accrediting boards, but CQL is really the one that is thought of to be one of the best. So we really worked hard all through the time of COVID to get ourselves ready to start the Medicaid funding. And what that really does is just allow folks. We had folks who were in the program who had waiver services, but they were coming in doing private pay And now we're able to serve them through that waiver. We also we've got several folks who are scholarshiped. In our world, it's a lot of haves and have-nots. You have folks who have an innovations waiver or waiver services. In Guilford County, currently, there are over 2,000 people waiting for those services. And we are able to serve people through private pay who have no funding, but we still have folks that we're serving who really can't. Our private pay is $35 a day, and there's a lot of folks who can't afford that. But there's also families who still want to work, but maybe they feel very uncomfortable leaving their young adult at home by themselves all day. So this provides a very safe and also very productive day. Our goal is to figure out what goals they want to achieve, and we work very diligently to help them be successful.
I'd like to add there's a wait list for both programs. Both the dental clinic is scheduled out till December, and there's a wait list for the day program.
Okay, thank you, ladies. Does anyone have any questions?
I have one.
Yes,
Thank you both for that. That was great. I was familiar with the dental program from last cycle, and I knew of Wild and Free, but I wasn't terribly familiar with it until we got this application. You said that there was a wait list and that this does help them achieve their goals. Is this something that they like graduate from kind of on a self-paced timeline, or?
Our goal is that they not stay with us forever. We want them to, choose what goals they have, whether it's working, living independently, getting married. We have all kinds of goals, getting a boyfriend or a girlfriend. I think one of the things that we want the community to better understand is that even if you have an intellectual and developmental disability, doesn't mean that you don't have dreams, just like anyone else. We have folks who want to go to post-secondary. We've actually helped a young man who wanted to do a culinary program, and through GTCC, they have a program that is for people with intellectual disabilities to be they called them a assistant sous chef. And so they had a program, and we had a gentleman who went through that program. He actually had started in it, and then COVID hit around March. He had started in January. So we're still waiting for that program to start back up for him, but he wants to work in a restaurant, and that program would help them get the Safe Serve certificate. Safe Serve, thank you. Yeah. Certificate. So we're always looking out to help them find areas that may help them get a leg up to get a job or to live independently. We do a lot of independent living skills because, sorry, I'm talking too much. Our goal is to help them find what they want to do. Take it away, Laura.
I have to say that COVID has really helped with us connect more with the community and partner. We've had a lot more opportunities to actually make that happen, to be more inclusive. Oddly enough, it came about, I think, more because of COVID.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Going along that line as well, I'm looking at the transitional educational program that y'all spoke about. And one of the things that stuck out to me was the wait list on the folks that are waiting. So I'm wondering if y'all have a plan as far as either for staff that will be able to fill that need, as well as location that will be able to take the amount of people that's on a waiting list and at least try to incorporate them into this program.
Well,
I think that was COVID too. We have to limit. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we just in January or the last day of January, we did have another program or another agency in our program, and they broke their lease and moved out. So we now have quite a bit of extra space. So we are going to be able to do that. We are trying desperately to be very careful. We've had a couple of outbreaks, and in order to keep people safe, we're dividing them into teams, and we're keeping the same staff with the same participants, just so we don't have a lot of cross contamination. So, once we are all able to go back to some kind of normal, we will be able to expand, but we're really trying to be safe at this point.
Thank you.
All right.
I've got a quick comment.
Yes.
Hi, Stephanie and Laura.
Hi, how are you?
I'm always good. Every day is a good day.
There you go.
I just want to make a comment. I think that dental program is something that you never hear of, and it's very much needed. And I have to applaud you guys for doing that. And that's really the only comment I have.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay. Well, ladies, again, thank you for your presentation this evening. It was great. And before we let you go, does anyone have any questions? Anybody else? Okay. Well, again, thank you for coming out. We do appreciate your time, and you ladies have a great evening.
Thank you.
You
You
too.
too.
Stay safe, everybody.
You
Bye-bye.
Too.
All right.
Leaving.
Everybody
Sorry, I'm
feeling
trying to
good?
leave. I'm trying to leave.
All right. How's everybody feeling? We got one more to go. We've got the Housing Authority for the City of High Point. And Alicia?
Yes, we have Miss Deborah Majette on the line. I hope I said that last name right.
Good evening, Ms. Majette. There you go.
We can't hear you.
Not yet.
We should suggest that they maybe call in the time of video. I don't know if they can hear me.
Do they have the call-in number?
There should be one on the invite that they received.
Can you all hear us? Can you guys look on the invite that you received and see if there's a call-in number that you might be able to call in on?
I can put it in the chat if they can view it that way.
Brian, are you there?
Yes.
If they call in, you may have to let them in. I don't know which number she's going to be calling from.
That's fine. I see it pop up. I'll bring him in.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. I apologize for that. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Deborah Majette, and I work as a Family Self-Sufficiency Caseworker Coordinator for the Housing Authority of the City of High Point. This evening, I would like to present on our fiscal year 2021 and 22 CDBG grant request for the Family Self-Sufficiency Occupational Training Project. The FSS Occupational Training Project is a program that supports and assists program participants to become workforce ready through quick careers training or continuing education and achieve gainful employment and become economically self-sufficient. The FSS Occupational Training Project's goal is to support at least 4 family self-sufficiency program participants to become workforce ready through quick careers or continuing education training and achieve gainful employment and become economically self-sufficient. FSS caseworkers will provide case management and support to program participants, will track their attendance and participation of each participant through monthly contacts to ensure participation, course completion, and project success. The expenditure of grant funds will include the cost of course registration, books, fees, equipment required to complete the course, and receive a certificate of completion. The project will begin July 1st, 2021, and will end June 30th, 2022. The FSS Occupational Training Project's primary resource is Gifford Technical Community College Quick Careers Training Program, which offers short-term training options for individuals to earn a third industry-recognized credential. The FSS caseworkers will identify, solicit, assess career goals, and assist with registration and enrollment for eligible program participants. The project's quantifiable and relevant results derived from activities will include a minimum of 4 family self-sufficiency participants to enroll in the Quick Careers Training courses offered within a time specified, the provision of close case management to assist program participants in achieving their goals, and the provision of financial management and home ownership training for at least 75% of program participants. FSS participants who successfully complete the program will have the opportunity to increase their level of earned income and enhance their ability to become financially self-sufficient. In addition, the FSS participants' ability to increase their level of earned income will aid in fostering economic stabilization and overcome barriers that may prevent economic self-sufficiency. The tools utilized to measure outcomes will consist of test grades, case notes, increases in income, and certificates of completions. In conclusion, since the inception of the FSS Occupational Training Project in 2013, the number of required participants was 28. However, 42 family self-sufficiency participants have completed the program. Out of the 42 family self-sufficiency participants who have completed the program, 32 have increased their level of earned income. Based on the number of participants required versus the number who completed the program, this equates to a 150% success rate. The support of CDBG grants has contributed to the success of family self-sufficiency participants increasing their level of earned income and obtaining employment. In addition, the CDBG grant has demonstrated a positive impact on economic growth and development in the community. The Housing Authority of the City of High Point would like to express our gratitude for your time and consideration, and we look forward to your continued support in working with the FSS Occupational Training Project. Thank you again.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Majette. Do we have any questions from the floor?
Yeah, as always.
Yes, sir.
I have just got maybe a couple questions. Are these the job training that you guys are going to provide? Is this going to be something that these people are going to be able to make a livable wage? And what kind of target wage are you looking at?
Yes, livable wage through the GTC Quick Careers, which is the courses that they will be enrolled in and going through. The goal is for them to be able to obtain their certificate and be able to move off as far as from unemployment to receiving some type of in the workforce in the particular area where they obtain their certificate for. Excuse me.
Do you also help them find employment?
We certainly do.
Okay. All right.
That's part of our.
You have done this program before, haven't you?
Yes, I have been working with the program since its inception with the Family Self-Sufficiency Occupational Training Project.
And do you know off the top of your head how many of these, the people who went through this are still employed?
I don't. I have the number that I gave, which was the 42. They were able to successfully either obtain employment or increase their level of income.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Anyone else?
Yep. Just a quick question I got. How long is the program?
The program will start, again, that's July 1st through 2021, and will end June 30th, 2022.
And that's it. And is that for all four? That's gonna be that whole span, or is it broken up like, in quarters?
Well, no, that's the time period that we will be working with eligible participants and going through training and obtain their certificate.
Okay, I get
so.
That.
And in the past, we've been successful in meeting that goal and exceeding the goal as far as 4.
Okay, so is that 4 for the whole year, or is that 4 that once they complete that program, let's say they've completed in 4 months, then you get another 4, and it goes until a whole year? I'm trying to figure out how long.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, excellent question, Aurel. Anyone else? Question or comment? Okay. Well, Ms. Majette, we do appreciate you taking out the time this evening to come visit with us. Your presentation was excellent. If anyone else doesn't have any questions, we'll wish you a good evening.
Thank you. Have a good evening, everyone. Thank you for your time.
All right. All right, guys. Good job. We did pretty good. How's everybody feel?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is actually went pretty much quicker. Oh, it seemed quicker than I thought it would have been.
I agree.
Okay. Were we able to cover all the questions that everyone had? Does anyone have any questions that they didn't get a chance to ask? Okay, good, good. Does anyone want to make any comments, any highlights? What do you guys think about the presentations?
I was impressed with how well laid out Theater Art Gallery's presentation was, like before, like the paperwork, I feel like explained a lot.
Yeah.
But all of them are great for the community, so it's always a hard decision, right?
Right.
Yeah, and we've got what, 5 more? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 more.
4 more.
Yeah, and so I do want to mention, keep in mind that we do have a budget, if you want to call it that. So we've got dollars that we are able to spend, and so we want to look at these and make sure that we are scoring them and thinking about how that plays into what kind of money we can grant. But I think all of them were great. I don't know if 5 minutes, if you guys think that was enough time or they needed more time. I think they did pretty good for 5 minutes. I mean, what do you think?
Well, I think, my opinion, I don't think 5 minutes is long enough.
Okay, I just heard Jim, but I saw some heads nod. So we got some yays, we got some nays. All right.
Well, Mr. Chair, I agree. I felt 5 minutes was not enough, but again, I understand what we're trying to do. So, but I believe the information that the applicants were able to provide within the 5 minutes, I think they did really well, to be able to condense all that information down.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot of information. And again, I just hope we were able to get the questions that we wanted, asked and answered. And it seems like we did. So, I want to give you guys a big pat on the back because we did a pretty good job this evening. I do want to give one mention to Mr. Belton. Are you on the line? I don't know if he can speak.
He should be able to, but he's muted right now.
Okay. All right. So I do want to remind everyone, let's make.
Yes.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Doing great.
Good,
Thank you.
Good. Any problems with the audio? Were you able to hear the presentations?
I was able to hear everything. That was great. I felt kind of bad that I wasn't navigating well enough to speak to a couple of things. If I just may, we actually supposed to have given them 10 minutes. Isn't that correct? According to your schedule that's out.
No, it's actually 10 minutes total. So 5 minutes of presentation, 5 minutes of Q&A.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I saw that but didn't apply it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So did you have any questions, any comments that you want to make, or any questions that weren't answered?
No, I think the presenters were pretty precise and to the point. They all came with some previous experience, which is great. And they're to be commended for that. The fact that they even take on the project, they get my commendations.
Excellent. Okay. All right, guys. Well, like I say, you did a great job. As Michelle mentioned earlier, we want to try to get the score sheets in by Friday. But keep in mind, this is an overall score. So again, we have 4 more applicants, 5 more applicants. And so keep that, in the back of your minds as we're going into tomorrow's meeting. But let's just make sure we get this in on time so we can have it done in time. Okay. Any comments? Any questions? Okay. All right. I do have one announcement. I think everyone has actually saw where is it at? I just had it up. Did everyone get the email about the Grodega ribbon cutting that will take place on Friday? Everyone seen the flyer?
Yes.
So you guys, one of our projects is actually going to start on March the 1st. So the Grodega is up and running, and it's going to be running Monday through Friday. They got a morning session from 10 to 1, and I like to call them sessions, but morning hours are 10 to 1 and evening hours are 2 to 5. So we've got 5 different locations. The Easttown Shopping Center, we've got the Burns Hill neighborhood, GTCC, Highlands. Actually, we've got 9. Weston Ministries, the 5 Points Legacy, Macedonia, and Southside. So we want to try and get this flyer out to as many people as we can, because this is one of ours, you guys, and this is one of those things we can tip our hat to and say we made happen. So good job again to everyone that was, in the process, and we've seen it come to fruition. So good job. Does anyone else have any announcements, updates they want to share?
Ron, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. My something's wrong with my computer. It's not my internet because my personal computers are on. It's my computer. So I'm on my phone. I just wanted, I don't know if someone has already mentioned this. I think you were talking about the Grodega, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you've already said that. And then we have our citizens participation meetings starting on tomorrow, the 25th. The first one is at 10 o'clock. You guys should have gotten an invitation. And we have 2 more. One is March the 2nd and the other one is March the 9th at 6:30. And so you should have got an invitation to be able to join those meetings. And you would need to register on the invitation that told you about registering. The registering piece is for you to be able to comment if you want to make a comment or talk or ask a question. You need to register to be able to do that, just like the grantees had to do tonight. And I think that was all the comment. That was all the announcements that I was going to talk about.
Okay. Oh, and I didn't mention this before, but the ribbon cutting is going to be Friday at 11 a.m. on Washington Street. So if anybody wants to come out and join us, come on out.
And Rob was selected to be a part of the ribbon cutting ceremony, so he will be using the scissors to cut the green ribbon.
Yeah, I didn't want to actually, toot my horn, but come on out and take a picture too. Let's put them out.
They asked for the CAC president. They asked for a CAC member, and normally the president, when that invite is out there, normally the president will be the person to actually do that. So there you are.
Yep. So it'd be nice to see my vice chair. Be nice to see the parliamentarian. Be nice to see, my veterans, Mr. Bronner, Mr. Mingo.
Some of us work. Some of us work.
Oh, okay, that'll work. But we'll have some cameras there. We'll be some Facebook Live or something. I hope. And of course, Mr. Boone, we want you to stop by. Think I forgot about you. I didn't.
Thank you for including me this time, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Rob, one last thing. Rob, one last thing. I would like to, she's not with us tonight, Clodagh, but I understand today is her birthday. And so even if she's listening or whatever, you guys probably want to say happy birthday to Clodagh.
Happy birthday, Clodagh.
Birthday, Clodagh.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see you tomorrow.
Happy birthday.
Mhm.
Are you going to say something, Mr. Belton?
Yes, I was going to speak to Mr. Sims. I did register for that ribbon cutting tomorrow because it's by invitation. I had something that's come up since then, and I will not be able to attend that. Didn't know that until mid afternoon. So I'm sorry, I'll not be able to be there for that ribbon cutting.
No problem. I appreciate you registering. We can Photoshop you in, so if necessary. I don't want you to miss that.
Thank you very much.
I'm just kidding. All right, guys. Any other announcements or comments?
And I would just like to say, everybody know that we're doing VITA. And at this point, we cannot take any more appointments. Our appointments are filled until, Alicia, you shaking your head, is that wrong?
No, I'm saying no more appointments.
Okay, yes, our appointments are filled up until the end of the tax season. We actually reached out, along with the library, we reached out to other surrounding VITA sites. Everybody is full. Everyone is full. And so if people want to do VITA, they can call into our office, and there's information on the phone when they call in that they can actually go to a link, and if they can use the computer and do that type of thing, they can actually do their own taxes if they can, if they can use the computer. But we're totally full. Don't know if IRS is going to extend because they started the season late. So we don't know if they're going to extend or not, but we cannot take in anyone else. And we have been getting lots and lots and lots of phone calls.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, our next meeting is scheduled for tomorrow. Tomorrow's meeting will actually start at 7 instead of 6. So we do ask that everyone just make sure they're on time. I think we're pretty good unless anyone else has any other announcements for us.
Yeah, Aurel, why don't you tell them the project that me, you, and Jessica and some others are working on?
Sure, Jim. So what we're working on, guys, is we're doing a neighborhood cleanup. And so we have a link where people can sign up. Once we get an amount of people that have signed up, we'll decide where in our city we'll be cleaning up. But this is based on our Oakview neighborhood meeting that we had currently. And we just want to be a part of the city to help with the growing amount of trash and stuff we've seen happening in our city. We want to be able to help with that.
Yeah, for those who are familiar, we're going from North Point Avenue, which is right by Crescent Ford, all the way to Ski Club Road. In the worst of the worst, not every square inch, but just the worst of the worst.
Is that going to be along Eastchester?
We are not going to do well, we might do Eastchester. We might go that far. Eastchester to one side and North Main to the other. And from North Point on and then all the way up to Ski Club. The trash is just unbelievable everywhere. I mean, it's everywhere.
So if someone wants to volunteer, how can they sign up?
Aurel has made a sign-in sheet. He's currently has it. It's also on Nextdoor for those people who use Nextdoor.
Yeah, Jim, I think you sent it out, and then as well as you emailed to the group.
Right.
Yeah, we can email that out to everybody in this group. Was that just the Oakview group that you emailed it to, Jim? I'm sorry. I remember saying thanks, but
I didn't. I haven't mailed it. I haven't emailed it to just the planning people, you and Aurel and Sandra and Rhonda. Those are the only ones that I sent it out to. Well, no, I sent it out to one of the former Gordon, because he signed up. He's bringing a scout troop of 1 million people or so.
Okay, yeah, Jim, I didn't know who else you had signed it out to, so, but.
Yeah.
And guys,
you
cleanups
know,
are very
email or-
important. Yeah, cleanups are very important. This is something that we have been encouraging our neighborhood leaders to do with their neighborhood associations for a long time. And it used to be that they would sign up and do monthly cleanups and then also join the city when the city would do their two major cleanups. And Washington Street just completed one this past Saturday. And it's a very important thing that there is some consistency with the cleanup so that you don't accumulate a lot of trash, like Jim is saying, that's been accumulated along the areas that they're doing. And, you know, if we could actually get people out there to be able to do this on a regular basis, it will help keep High Point beautiful.
Yeah, this particular effort that we're doing, we've recruited people from all over. We've got people from way north of here who want to be involved. Probably 30 or 40 people have responded. I don't even know who these people are. They see it too, and they want to help. So we're just going to accommodate everybody and do it the best we can.
And it's great, Jim. If you guys can get us out a sign-up sheet, if anyone wants to volunteer, let's let Jim or Aurel or Jessica know. And, you know, let's see if we can all pitch in and help keep High Point clean.
When is that event? What's the date?
March 20th. March 20th, we're going to start at 10 a.m. in the morning and go to about 1 o'clock. We'll probably be meeting, some of us will be meeting at OP Rec Center, some of us will be meeting at Deep River Rec Center. We haven't got it all that figured out yet. We're going to wait and see how many people sign up and participate. Then we're going to put Jessica to work.
Woohoo!
Right, Jim. And you never know, if we have a big participation, we probably can also expand as well.
Correct. So.
Okay. All right. So any other comments or announcements? Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
That was my next one. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
This is Jessica Wynn. I second that motion.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Aye. The ayes have it. Meeting is adjourned. You guys have a great evening.
Good night.